Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together with all of you. Do you think you could adjust that for me just a little bit? Thank you. So wonderful to be together with all of you. We begin, as always, with taking a question that's come in from our online family, our internet-based family from all over the world. And then we open it up to any questions that anyone here might have. So, starting with one of them from our online family. I had an active and fulfilling life as a teacher. Now I'm retired. I feel like something is missing in my life, that I'm just spending time doing non-important things. How can I change how I feel? And this is asked by our sister Laura. It's a great question because there's actually at least two, we'll see maybe as we go, we'll come up with more than two, but at least two really powerful different aspects. The first is the challenge of retirement for so many people. We identify as our jobs, whatever they may be, whether it's something that isn't a service-oriented career, a teacher, or whether it's as a business person, a high-level CEO, or a jet-setting person in advertising or marketing, or whatever it may be. We identify so much as that when we retire, lots and lots and lots of people have major identity issues. It's a whole sense of who am I? I mean, I'm a doctor, but if I'm no longer a doctor, then who am I? I'm a lawyer, but if I'm no longer practicing law, then who am I? And on a spiritual level, it's actually a really beautiful lesson and opportunity because whether it's our careers or whether it's our relationships, you see this also with empty nest syndrome, I'm the mother. Well, when my kids are now grown and gone, yeah, of course, you're still their mother, and yet, in an hour-by-hour identity of the day and what you do and what you think about, it's no longer something that's filling your day. So, well, then what do I do? If I was making, lunch boxes or helping with homework or driving the kids around, and now I'm not doing that, who am I? And on a spiritual level, it's a critical lesson for all of us to learn that we are not our jobs, that we're not our relationships, because ultimately all of those identities are temporary. Even if you are married, until your spouse passes away at hopefully a very, very, very old age, well, there will still be a moment where your spouse does pass away and now you are no longer the wife or the husband because there's no longer a spouse. There will come a time when your kids grow up and move out and don't need you on that level anymore. There will come a time, hopefully, that you retire. Because if you die before you retire, chances are that you've died at an age that's, too young. On a spiritual level, therefore, we have to work on understanding who we are, because otherwise you lose your job. either by retirement or you get fired. And not only did I lose the job, but I lose my sense of self. You lose the spouse to death, to divorce. You lose the kids to just them going off to college or getting married and moving out. And not only have you lost the spouse or the kids, but you've lost that personal identity. And on that spiritual level, the practice is all about recognizing not the body, not the role, not the bank account, not the narrative, not the story. So then who am I? It's like when we lead meditation, typically the mantra for meditation that I give so frequently is so on the inhalations, hum on the exhalations. I am that. I am that. Not I am this role, I am this job, I am this relationship. But I am the capital T that. The divine that, the universal that. I am inseparable from all that is, from existence itself. It's why when we talk about the truest self, the truest nature, and we speak about Sat, Chit, Anand, I am truth or existence, I am consciousness, I am bliss. Like that's who I am. It's not about being somebody's mother or father or wife or husband, or being the window washer or the file clerk or the CEO or the actor or the model or the this or that. I am Sat Chit Anand. So on the spiritual level, that's the work, Laura, is who are you? And of course, the answer to that is who you were even before you retired. But maybe you just didn't have the time or the focus or the energy or the inclination to do that exploring. Now do it. These are the golden years for a reason. Use them as spiritual practice. And second part of the answer, and these days with health and longevity being what it is, lots and lots and lots of people are retiring at an age when they still have not only years but decades left of great service, great service. And just because you've retired from your job doesn't mean that you can't be of great service. As Laura asked, she said, I feel like now I'm just doing unimportant things. Well, do something that feels more important. You're a teacher. You had to retire from that job, no problem. I am sure that you could get a job teaching in a different place. Particularly on a volunteer level, poor kids. So many kids are in need of an education. Schools need substitute teachers. Kids need after-school tutoring. Set up an after-school tutoring program, especially for poor kids who don't have support at home. There's so much still that you can actually do. There's so many really powerful volunteer opportunities. Volunteer in an orphanage, volunteer to be the teacher at a battered women's shelter when they escape from an abusive home environment and bring their kids to the shelter. Volunteer as the teacher there. But keep doing something that feels meaningful. Because not only does it keep your soul, your spirit, your heart happy, but it actually keeps the body happy. There's lots and lots of scientific evidence around longevity and purpose. And when we lose purpose in life, how quickly our health goes down. It's why so many people get so unhealthy after they retire. It's not just that they sit home and eat cookies. but it's that actually without that sense of purpose, our physical health plummets. So make sure that in your retirement years, you're also doing something that's meaningful. Pujya Swamiji gives a beautiful rhyming way of thinking about it. He says the phases of our life are learn, earn, and return. Ultimately, it's return back to the divine, but before we do the ultimate final return, we have in most cases decades to return back to the world. We learned from the world. Somebody taught us. Somebody guided us. Somebody built a school that we got to study in. Somebody wrote books, published books that we got to read from. And then we earned. Somebody paid us. Somebody themselves earned money that then they used to pay us to do a job. We've been taking from the world for most of our lives. And now it's this opportunity to return. What can you do? What skills do you have? What abilities do you have? Use them. Because otherwise, whether you're retired or on a sabbatical or on a long vacation or got fired and in between jobs, whatever it is, our sense of deep internal purpose, we can lose hold of it very quickly. And we are here on earth to be what we speak about as a nimit, an instrument. So use your time, use your energy, serve. Just because that job makes you retire doesn't mean that you're dried up and useless. If more retired people got engaged more in the society, our world would be in a completely different situation. You think about the number of kids who end up on the street using drugs, in gangs, because they don't have somebody at home. Maybe because both their parents have to work because they're really poor. Maybe because there's drug or alcohol abuse in the family. For so many other reasons. But they don't have someone to come home to who's actually going to make them do their homework, help them with their homework, make sure it gets turned in, make sure there's pens and pencils and notebooks and whatever it is. And if the retired communities in our communities, because you don't have to have been a teacher as your career to help elementary-aged kids read and do mathematics, it's the kind of stuff we can all do. And even if you can't actually teach them, can you provide a place where they can have, milk and cookies or celery and peanut butter or whatever you want to serve them after school and sit and actually do their homework? Rather than an environment of drugs, alcohol, or violence? Open up a daycare center, an after-school tutoring center. There's so much that needs to be done, especially for the youth. So if you've learned, if you've earned, however old you are, if you have the luxury to retire, now it's your opportunity to return before you have to return. Wonderful. Other questions that anyone here has? Yes, of course, please, come.
Can you hear me well? Thank you. My name is Alexandra, and my question is as follows. 3 years ago, I started to work in a quite famous international organization which is serving humanity and humanitarian action. And I remember my fuel back then when I joined. I was full of energy, I was full of happiness that I'm finally in a place where I actually can really feel that we make difference. It's been 3 years now, and I have witnessed so many things related to bureaucracy, politics, human interests, and everything which actually holds back all the progress, all fantastic initiatives. And I'm looking at all of this, and I cannot understand how we can move on and how we can still do great things, even if such powerful places.
It's a great question. It's actually something that I personally struggled with. Before I moved to India at 25, throughout my years of education and study, I was very frequently volunteering for a variety of different organizations. And I wasn't working full-time, as you are, because I was in school. But I was volunteering a lot, and there was even a period of time during the first Gulf War that I was out of school volunteering full-time. It's like I just wanted to get involved, wanted to be part of the peace process. And I had the same level of excitement at the beginning that you did, and the same level of frustration and jadedness and disillusionment afterwards. Many, many times during those periods of volunteering, my parents would say to me, "Can we make a donation? You know, like you're volunteering for these organizations, you're working really hard, I know you're working to raise money, let us make a donation." And I always stopped them. I never let them make a donation to anything, because I felt like I know where the money's all going. Like I'm watching it happen before my eyes. And so I never let them do it. It wasn't actually until I came here with a spiritual transformation that just happened to also, by God's grace, include a lot of humanitarian and charitable work. But this was the very first place, after years and years of volunteering in different organizations, that I finally said to them, "Okay, now you can write a check. Like now you can help and do something." I share your frustration. Throughout the years of being here, we've also had the opportunity to work with many large international well-known organizations. And it is really, in many cases, both a blessing and also a challenge. Because as you say, there's bureaucracy, there's red tape, there's waste of money, there's focuses and priorities in places that we wouldn't necessarily want them to go. You've got a few options. Don't get totally disillusioned, don't give up. You have a few options. Option 1, if you find an organization you really like, stay with it long enough to move high enough in the ranks that you actually have the power to bring about some change. You probably will not redo the entire organization if it's of that scale, but at least the higher you go, the more people you have under you rather than over you, the more of a possibility you have in your niche to actually make a change and to do things differently. So rather than jumping from organization to organization, stay long enough so that you actually have some power. Number 2, start an organization on your own. It's what inspires a lot of people to start organizations. It's actually one of the reasons that faith-based organizations that are started by different religious bodies, tend to be the ones that actually, in most cases, do the most amount of work. Not always. It's not that they never have bureaucracy. It's not that there's never red tape. It's not that they're perfect. But they do tend to be rooted and anchored in a philosophy that is different from a more secular NGO. Option number 3. rather than work in the NGO world, work in another sector in which actually through business, you end up being able to make a huge change. Business is not always the enemy. It's not always the creator of problems. These days, there's more and more businesses that are actually becoming part of the solution rather than part of the problem. There's a lot of cases in which actually the charitable foundations of, or the charitable wings of, or even the very ethos of the business itself is doing more good work than different NGOs. So you've got a lot of different options, but try not to spend too much time being jaded and frustrated. What you're describing is something that we see a lot. And like dealing with any individual, there's going to be aspects about most people in the world that if you had a magic wand, you would change. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to be their friend. It doesn't mean that you divorce them. It doesn't mean that you disown them. You understand, oh, okay, these are the challenges. These are the things I wish I could change. But nonetheless, here's all these aspects of them that I love. And so you just allow yourself to embrace the good, except until you can change that which you'd like to change. But you're going to have to just weigh sort of which of all of these options makes the most sense for you. But don't let yourself get too disillusioned or jaded or frustrated, because then you don't serve anybody. Yes, of course. Pranam.
I am Jaya. So, Sadhviji, last month I lost my only adolescent son in a matter of hours without any illness. So I am so confused. Is it bad karma, past life sins? I don't know how to come in terms with this, and I lost the purpose. I don't know what to do. So that's it. I am here in this Parmarth Niketan due to that only. And I just want some answers so I can move forward.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about the loss of your son. As children, it's tragic to lose our parents. And yet, on some level, we know that it's going to happen. We understand on a deep level that part of the way that nature unfolds is that children will lose their parents, hopefully not too early, hopefully not too young, but that is the cycle of life. But parents are never prepared to have to bury their children. That's anti the cycle of life. So I'm so sorry for your loss. While you're here, let's make sure to have also a beautiful puja for you. Taraji, maybe you can talk to her, spend some time, and Taraji will help coordinate that for you. I wish I had answers. This sort of loss, grief, there aren't answers. Yes, we can say and we know, and it's true, that it's all part of the karmic cycle. But that's not really a very satisfying answer, as anybody who's lost a loved one knows. It's satisfying when they are, 95, 97, and they have lived a healthy, beautiful life, and eventually they pass away. We're able to be sad, but accept it. Knowing that this is due to karma, it's true. It is the answer. But it's not satisfying on a heart level. It doesn't actually make us feel better, but it is the truth. However, because it's due to karma does not mean it's a punishment. You say, is it bad karma? No, it is not bad karma. Remember that the highest, deepest spiritual reason we are here is not about a long life. It's about clearing our karmic bank account. When that bank account is cleared, we are able to leave the body and attain moksha. That's the way that the cycle of life goes. We keep taking new bodies. Why? Not just so that we can eat more pizza or watch more soccer games because we really enjoy it, but because we've got karmic work left to do. At the end of this life, when you leave your body, the thing that's going to determine whether you take another body is how much work you've got left to do. And the thing that's going to determine how long you're in the next body is how much work you have left to do and what that work is. Sometimes it's work that can be done in a few short years of childhood. Sometimes it's work that requires a grandparent to do. Therefore, you're going to have a life up until that age. But it's all due to the amount of work that we have left to do and the type of work we have left to do. But there's a very interesting phenomenon that I've noticed over now almost 30 years of being here and watching people come grieving the loss of loved ones. When it is a child, every single time, 100 times out of 100, that child is described as being the most angelic, the most beautiful, the most wonderful. And it's not just that we speak nicely of the dead, because sometimes when, adults will pass away, everybody's always trying to be polite, but then sometimes they'll say to you in private, he really wasn't such a nice guy. Or she was really kind of like this. But with children, it's always the ones who were the angels. It's always the ones who everyone said, this is the boy, this is the girl. They were always these shining examples. Parents always have all these pictures or these memories or these mementos of all of the accolades or the good works or all of that. And what that reminds us is they came into this world so close to liberation that they only needed another few years. They were basically already angels in bodies. They just had a little bit more karmic work to clear. So no, it's not bad karma at all. And he took birth through you, knowing that you would be the appropriate environment for him to finish that work that he needed to do. And on a deep soul level, he knew that you'd be okay. He knew that you'd be okay when he had to leave early. Doesn't mean it's easy, by any means. Doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt like anything in the world. But it means that when that decision on the soul level was made, where to come, which body, which family, which womb, which karmic journey, that you were chosen to help him finish that path. So yes, it's karma, but no, it is not bad karma. And it's karma meaning simply that his freedom at a young age was the result of the fact that he probably almost finished it all in his previous birth. If he had more work to do in this body, you can be sure he would still be in the body. The clearest indication that his work was over is that he left his body. For you. It also was not bad karma for you. You know, people sometimes think like that. I must have done something bad, that's why I'm suffering. But that's not how the universe thinks. It's not how the divine thinks. We are given the experiences we are given because they are the ones that are going to take us further and deeper on our path. This awful, awful, awful loss has been given to you after all of the years of great joy and blessing of being his mother. Because the combination of those two things together is exactly what you needed to take your next step, to move forward, to go deeper, to go higher. So use it like that. Let that pain be the fire that burns through you. Let it burn through you. It stings anyway. Let it clear you of all of that you're living in illusion. Use it. Use it as the fuel. Use the grief as the fuel to go deeper on your spiritual path. To understand he's not really gone. He's here in soul. The body was just the body. The soul is still here. Soul was, the truth of who he was is soul. Let that be your path deep and in. Okay? Yeah. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt for the rest of your life. I would be kidding you if I said, don't worry, give it a year or two and you'll be fine. But what will happen is you will be fine anyway. The grief will still be there. But you will evolve to be fine with the presence of the grief. It will coexist with joy, with love, with laughter. So the grief isn't going to go away, but the rest of you will be able to come back and coexist around it and along with it. And it'll be there as a beautiful reminder of the beautiful blessings that you were given for a period of time in this life. Yeah. Beautiful. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. A beautiful morning and day to our family joining from all over the world online. And I look so forward to being together with all of you tomorrow. And so